Election is over almost a week ago, and Donald J. Trump has won the presidency. Congratulations to those who voted for him, and let's hope that he could really make America great again. And while the Republicans are celebrating, I also saw some of the Democrats posting their frustrations online. No! And it's very polarizing because it feels like everything is just black and white nowadays. It's either you die as a Trump supporter or a Kamala supporter, and no in-betweens, which is very dangerous in my opinion. And to be honest, as a non-American who experienced a very similar polarizing election, I can already tell that Trump's gonna win way before the election started. Even when legacy media tried to push the narrative that Kamala is the fan favorite, I just knew that it's not gonna work. It's way too obvious that it's not gonna work because there are clear signs that made me sure Trump's gonna win this one. In this video, I'm just gonna give you some stuff that are huge enough to reach people like me who don't live in America. Stuff that made the voters solidly vote for Trump or shift from Kamala to Trump. So first, let's discuss why Harris lost to Trump. So there are multiple reasons. So let me just put some of the reasons, not all, because if we put all, then it will be a really long video and we don't want that. First of all, she didn't separate herself from Biden during her campaign. That is bad because we all know that during the electoral campaign, Biden's popularity is diminishing so bad, and that clearly contributes to why Kamala lost. She also didn't make a clear plan if ever she wins the election. This is crucial because a lot of people are experiencing so much hardship during the past 4 years in America. So you have to create or lay out your platform as clearly as you possibly could, especially if you're the incumbent, because you need to convince people to keep supporting your party. She also refused to explain why she had abandoned the progressive positions on crime, immigration, healthcare, and climate change, which blurred the public opinion of her. And as the article of Telegraph said, incumbents don't win when the voters are miserable. That is 100% true. You know, when the people of United States are experiencing a lot of, bad things like inflation, widespread unemployment, bad economy, chances are they're gonna look for change. They're gonna look for another leader. She also refused to reach every form of media that she could possibly reach. She missed a lot of podcasts, which is considered one of the modern form of media nowadays. So why did Trump win? Meanwhile, Trump questioned all of liberals' shortcomings, which helped him win because the people also took notice. Trump promises a lot of stuff, but to make it short, he basically offered the voters the chance to go against the policies of the Democrats. For example, deporting illegal immigrants, focused on inflation and healthcare, also fighting for the real freedom of speech, and the stuff about indoctrination of children by the rainbow community, and a lot of other things that goes against the Democrats' beliefs and policies. One more aspect is also Elon Musk. He really helped a lot because we all know that Elon Musk is basically famous globally, even in my country. So the fact that he announced loudly his support for Donald Trump helped a lot. Also, Trump basically reached out to lots of people and even attended so many podcasts, not just legacy media, but a lot of podcasts for as much as he possibly can. This created a genuine bond which made people know him more or get to know him better. And also, I think one of the most important thing that made Trump win, because he almost got killed and just barely survived, really contributes to him winning. Because of that, I think a lot of people switched side from Kamala to Trump. And all of this are just the events focusing on Trump and Harris, but there's actually more reason to why Harris lost. And these are outside the politicians themselves, but more focused on the community, the environment, the people. So there's this subconscious behavior that the Democrats or the left wing are doing to the conservatives, which is to demonize or antagonize them. There are a lot of instances where this happens, and it's very similar to the Philippines. So let's talk about some of the huge ones that I can think of. First is this unwritten rule that the Democrats believed in is if you support Trump, you're a fascist, a traitor to the country, and whatever negative adjectives you can even add to this statement. This is very absurd in my opinion, because if you want to win an election or any other event that requires voting, you don't go demonizing your oppositions. You talk to them. Let them hear your political platforms and let them decide whether they will support you on that. It's basically marketing. You can go convince them all you want, but at the end of the day, the customer or the client always has the final word. So by demonizing them, you're basically pushing them away. And those people are valuable votes. The LGBT community are also pushing their culture and belief to other people, especially to those who just don't buy it. Again, this is a very bad example of promoting minorities to the crowd. I'm saying minorities because LGBT is part of the minority, right? Same with other races, blacks, Asians, as long as you're not white, So those are part of the minorities. So back to the topic. Everyone has their own beliefs. And if a trans woman thinks he or she is a girl, then fine. Good for him or her. But you can't go forcing. Again, the important context here is the word forcing people to agree with what you believe in. It doesn't work. Never will. Next is overly prioritizing DEI over white people. And this is another huge mistake election-wise, because DEI, as we all know it, is a program dedicated to the minorities. Black, Asians, LGBT, etc. Just look at the numbers. From the US Census of 2020, pure whites alone are almost 62% of the total US population. With mix, it's 71%. That alone should tell you why Kamala lost. Because not only they focused on DEI, but they also, again, subconsciously demonize these white folks. Hello? They are American too. They also want to feel included on your inclusion program. Next, people being condemned too much not because they supported Trump, but because they just stayed neutral, which the Democrats don't like. Basically, a black and white perspective, no in-betweens. You either support them or you hate them. That's it. Why did I say this? So let me just give you an example of this case. Have you heard of the teacher named Warren Smith or the Secret Scholar Society on YouTube? For those who don't know, he is the viral teacher who got questioned by a student about J.K. Rowling. Basically, the question is somewhat close to the lines of, why is J.K. Rowling a bigot? Instead of telling the kid that J.K. Rowling is a bigot, or maybe not, he guided the student to think critically. Take note of the word critically, that's important. And let him process his own thought about the whole situation. On his own alone. He didn't try to tell him what is right. He didn't try to tell him what is wrong. He let the student decide. And the conclusion they came up with is that J.K. Rowling is technically not a bigot. This sparked so much controversy that it got viral. The Republicans loved it, and of course, on the other hand, the Democrats hated it so much. And guess what? Months later, the guy lost his job. He got fired because of what he did. Isn't that insane? And he was actually offered something just so he would stay silent about this. Isn't this crazy? The Democrats, who are the one fighting for freedom of speech, is now trying to silence the guy just because he lost his job, and they are afraid or scared that he will talk about this. And he eventually did, because he posted a video on his YouTube channel. And for the next one, men in general, not just white folks, but men, including blacks, Asians, all men, for some reason, are being outcasted by the Democrats. This is heavily influenced by the feminist or the modern feminist movement. I mean, just look at this trend online about women hating men in general. You can see it on TikTok, Twitter, and maybe all of the other platforms that you could think of.
Are men trash?
Oh, cis, heterosexual men, absolutely, especially white men.
What rights do you think that men have that women don't today?
A woman can still walk a street and not feel protected versus a man can.
Women are probably like underrepresented.
Like it started off with great intent, but you have people who abuse the system.
A hatred of masculine energy.
It's like anti-men.
So there's this clip going viral online of a dozen women being asked the following question: do we need men? Most answered very quickly, no. And only one said she thought women needed a man in their lives, only one. But when men were asked a similar question, do we need women, most of them said yes. So why do you think that is?
Because men are useless.
The misandry in America during the past 4 years is immeasurable. I get it that the US people or the Democrats wants to empower women, but it shouldn't be at the expense of men. Especially when half of the population of the US is basically men. We risk losing all these valuable votes by doing that. Heck, some people are even looking for a wife from a different country. They are now what we called passport bros.
Why you think they so mad at the passport bros? Dudes that they didn't want anyway. You know why they're mad? Because they are terrified that those dudes is gonna fly to another country. They're gonna see how those women act. They're gonna see how those women treat the men. They're gonna experience how those women treat them. And then they're gonna come back and tell us. And then we're gonna look at them and say, wait a minute. We don't have to put up with this?
Passport bros, it was supposed to be an insult, but nowadays, these passport bros are embracing this title with so much pride and satisfaction. Imagine being so toxic that you made men leave your country to find a better life partner. It sounds ridiculous to me. But if you think about it, it's actually low-key alarming for the future of the US. I mean, men are literally one of the foundation of a country. They literally build infrastructures, while the women are busy nurturing the future generations, the community. The men are building things from scratch. Just imagine what would happen if we push those people away. And last but not the least is the media, or legacy media in general, trying to push the narrative that Trump is bad, Harris is good, to the very extreme. You can just browse some of the legacy media online and on YouTube, and you can see how badly they painted Trump during the campaign period. They even went to the extreme by twisting some of the narratives of certain events to make sure that Trump looks bad. I mean, just look at this. They actually tried to paint Trump as the bad guy by zooming the video in on his face, on his body, doing the action of feeding the koi fish, which may get some misinterpretation. And then the truth got revealed that it was actually Abe, or former Prime Minister Abe, who initiated the action. And Trump just followed through. There are actually still lots of examples and reasons, but most of them are very similar to the ones I mentioned above. And I think by now you get the very gist of it already. So there's really no point in over-expanding this. So what's the conclusion? The conclusion is Harris lost not because she's not qualified or a bad person per se. No, the main reason why she lost is because of how toxic the left or the liberals or the Democrats has become. Not just the politicians, but the whole community in general. It is very polarizing. Also, it's similar to the Philippines because here, people who didn't support the left wing are also outcasted, condemned, or in modern terms, cancelled. And even if you stay neutral, you will still be antagonized because they really want that vote, every vote. Heck, even by being neutral, I lost so many friends because of this polarizing type of election. That's why I can totally relate to how stressful and toxic this US election was. Sometimes I think maybe too much freedom or democracy is actually bad for our respective countries, just because of this chain of events. People losing job, getting cancelled, being outcasted, etc. And that's how Harris lost the majority of the votes. I'm talking about votes only since that's the main focus of the video, but let's be real. Even without the votes or the election, no person on this planet wants to feel outcasted and antagonized and demonized just for having a differing opinion. No one. Just imagine for yourself, if you feel outcasted, alone, what would you do? You will look for some place that you feel safer, that you feel accepted. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people who don't resonate with Harris shifted to Trump. Because the Democrats basically ignored them or antagonized them. They didn't listen to their concerns. And to be fair to the Democrats, it's understandable. Because there are some right-wing or Republicans that are actually ass. They actually keep insulting the Democrats as well. I'm not saying all of the Republicans or all of the Democrats, but there are some cases like that. Everyone just wants to impose their beliefs without respecting the other side. They are missing the point of the election, which is to respect the will of the people. You know, both sides have been doing this, not just the Democrats. Even the Republicans keep bashing the left-wing's beliefs as well. It's just that at this very election, I think the left wing did it more obnoxiously. Hence, they lost. So yeah, that's basically it. If you have something to add or maybe you want to correct me, feel free to comment that down below. I'm curious about everybody's thoughts on this one. Also, if you like this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm actually trying to reach 50 subscribers now, so I would pretty much appreciate it if you can do that. And finally, before we end this video, let me share a short clip of a young and outstanding politician in the Philippines. I actually live in the city where he is the mayor, and to be honest, while there are some shortcomings in his leadership, I think he is doing a fantastic job. Hence, I believe that his words have better weight, and generally, it's just a great message for everyone to remember for the future elections. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, everyone.
Sir, last time. Sir, what do you say to actions bordering on coercion, coercing government officials to endorse particular candidates or to say certain statements?
Ang politika, ang eleksyon, dapat kumbinsihan yan. So let's convince each other in a civilized manner, in a polite manner. Baka yung iba, sa totoo, mga ibang supporters ng candidates, baka na-turn off yung ibang tao sa kanila dahil sa attitude nila na pag hindi namin kayo kasama, masamang tao kayo. I don't think that's the right approach to convince people to vote for your candidate.
Thank you.